Jeff Roper, Kaylee Galaviz. This is the show. After the show, what a crazy weekend. President assassination attempt. More on that.
Is your mic on? Is my mic on?
Is your mic on?
Is everything off?
I don't know.
I can't hear anything.
I hear me.
Can you? Maybe I'm just
Are you there?
disconnected.
Are you?
Oh, I got turned off.
Oh, her IFB's off.
She died.
Her IFB is off.
Yeah, she's dying. Anyways, we'll see how long she lasts.
Well, we're certainly thinking about the people in Pennsylvania who lost a firefighter there because of this assassination attempt. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's so shocking.
And I think, they're checking that kid's phone. 20-year-old kid worked at a nursing home there. It was kind of an outsider, and he didn't make the rifle team because he wasn't a good shot. AR style weapon. By the way, AR does not stand for assault rifle, just so you know that. That's a brand name. But a lot of people tend to think that. And
It's a common mistake, honestly.
well, it's a social mistake that
Yeah.
the media has not helped with. That AR style thing. It does not stand for assault rifle.
Right.
We also lost Shannon Doherty from Beverly Hills 90210 over the weekend. She was very open. She had a podcast that she was doing, I think, up until last year, where she was talking about all this and trying to inspire people. And
Yeah.
I think her battle lasted with cancer, almost 10 years.
Yeah, it was 2015, I think,
Okay.
she got diagnosed.
Dr. Ruth Westheimer, sex therapist, radio and TV host, known to millions as Dr. Ruth. She had that German accent. She was such a sweet, little old spunky lady. She was 96, and I used to listen to her on the radio on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah?
The rock station where I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, had her on late at night on Sunday night, and she would take questions in the safe harbor window after 10 p.m. where the FCC lets you talk about certain things.
Oh,
Did you know that?
interesting. I did not
there's
know
there's a
this.
window later in the day where you can get away with certain things, where certain words are okay or they're not frowned upon as much. But Dr. Ruth had a show from like 10 to midnight.
Wow.
And it was all about love talk. And they would put her on the radio, and she would talk about the things that you don't say at the dinner table.
That's awesome.
And that was on WROQ, the big rock station.
Interesting.
Richard Simmons passed away. We lost a number of people this weekend. He was 76, went into hiding and just kind of was a hermit there at the end of his life. But I met him once. He was quite the inspiration.
Quite
And
a
I
character.
ended up smelling like him afterwards, and I had glitter all over me.
Is that a good thing or
When he
bad
hugged
thing?
me. He had an aura. I'm telling you, when he showed up, he had them little striped shorts on, sweating to the oldies. He was quite the character, but energy. You could
Yeah,
feel the energy.
that's good.
I mean,
Those
just
are the best
even,
people.
I have pictures of him. Let me pull those up here real quick. By the way, we are taking your summer fun pictures here, and that's the temperature right now. It's 70 degrees. We got smoke, summer fun pictures. Let me find this real quick. We're going to be on QP Radio. That's not quite it either. We're going to have to zoom out to show some of these pictures. But yeah, summer fun. Look at this kid. There's Richard.
Talk about summer fun.
There's
There we
Richard
go.
Simmons. He was quite the just personality.
I love the hair.
Me and him on the radio, and yeah, when he showed up, man, it was out of control. So, Richard
Fun.
Simmons.
You
So-
posted a whole video on your TikTok and Facebook.
Well, yeah, that was, and I've got to go back and find the interview I did with him because
Yeah.
it's so funny because I brought, when you interview celebrities, they've heard it all.
Yeah.
They've seen it all. So if you can create an atmosphere where they have fun,
Right.
then they're more likely to remember that, number one. Number two, they'll come back and do it again because you made it fun for them. It's like when I interviewed Jimmy Kimmel on my YouTube page, I gave him mean tweets to read.
Oh, one of those. Those are my favorites.
And then I had a gift bag. And he it gave his brain a break from, what's it like to do jokes? I mean, just boring. When you're asking people questions, make it interesting.
Yeah.
And don't do yes or no questions. Well, with Richard Simmons, who, it's funny, he's behind you.
I know.
With Richard Simmons, when he showed up, I learned that he could play the harmonica. So I did some research, and I gave him a harmonica.
How do you react to that?
Well, he played a song,
Nice.
which was hilarious. He played Deliverance.
Oh my gosh.
And then his reaction was, so he Hang on, I may have a harmonica with me. Hang on a second.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so.
Are you going to recreate this moment?
Well,
for us?
yeah, if I can find the audio of it, it's somewhere on a mini disc. But when he came in, he really was quite the, funny man. But when he came, I had this the other day. I got a bag of stuff. So
got lots of props.
when he came in, I said, "Okay, so Richard, I understand you love to play the harmonica," and he goes, "How did you know that?" I said, "I do my research. I mean, I'll do some background. You should do background stuff on people to
Right.
give them that, give them the knowledge that you know." So he gets in there and I give him the harmonica. He goes, "Richard Simmons on harmonica." He goes, "Deliverance."
And that's all she wrote.
And that was it. It was hilarious. And he laughed about it because it's Deliverance. You know that movie?
Gosh, yes, I do know
Okay.
that movie.
It's a very Southern movie. Anyway, Richard Simmons, what a magnificent personality. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
And what else is going on?
Well, let's see.
Pick your best thing.
Well, there was quite a shock over the weekend. Well, I guess it was before the weekend, but the judge dismissed the involuntary manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin on Friday, which is kind of crazy. They just
They were trying to set him up.
threw it out.
The
Yeah.
truth always comes out, people. This is what you need to understand. If you think you're going to get away with it, no, the truth always comes out. They put evidence in another folder and they found it. And at that point, it was like, you're trying to set this guy up. And the truth always comes out.
And he had tears of joy. He was very relieved.
Well, he's being
to say
set
the
up.
least.
Can you imagine being accused of something you didn't do?
No, I know. That would be the hardest thing.
Trust me on this.
Especially with all of Hollywood watching
Trust
you.
me on this. It messes with you, and it's very stressful.
Yeah.
But the truth always comes out.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
crazy.
but it will damage you, and people tend to hang on to the accusations more than they do the verdict.
I feel like a lot of times when people are charged with certain things, people are just like, yeah, he's guilty right away. And so it's interesting. You got to take the step back and just be like, no, hold on, let's go through
Everybody's
what happened.
innocent until proven guilty. Okay, so the word alleged is something we say a lot around this business because we want to give people the benefit. If you're a
Right.
suspect, that's what you are.
Right.
Yeah. Even you go back to people that we've met here. The gentleman who was accused of murdering
Oh, yeah. Chris Tapp.
Christopher Tapp, and I was friends with him. And I mean, 20 years in prison.
I know.
And so he and I went to Garth Brooks together.
Oh, yeah, I remember you.
It was one of his
posting a picture
first
about
big
that.
events that he went to after he got out of prison. And he told me stories, and I sat there and we talked about his tattoos. Obviously, he watched us on the, so he felt like he
Yeah.
knew me, and so we got to know each other.
Well,
And he has since passed, obviously.
Yeah. But he didn't hold any hard feelings, which is
That's a
amazing.
gift.
Yeah.
I
To be able to
mean,
forgive.
That's what we're supposed to do.
You
don't have
people
to
are a lot
forget,
better than
but
me.
well, again, you've got to reach some. You poison yourself when you worry about that kind of stuff. But,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
yeah, you'll live that with life. Just remember that.
Deliverance.
You,
Oh, yesterday Forever Stamps went up in price.
yeah, what does it cost now to mail something? 70 cents?
73 from 60.
That's ridiculous. But who mails anything anymore, right?
Say some viewers do.
I've mailed stuff. I've gotten letters.
We've gotten some love mail.
Well,
Love mail.
and some not so love mail.
And some maybe some
But they're
not so love
chicken
mail.
squat because they won't put their name on it. That's the thing I love. If you got an opinion, you better put your name next
Say
to
it with
it.
your chest.
I got no problem saying my opinion with my name next to it,
And
even
you
though I'm not
do.
allowed to have one.
You always do. But you voice it, no matter what, whether you're allowed to or not.
What? But again, I'm thinking like the viewer, both
Yeah.
of them.
Which is great, and that's why so many people love you.
I had a guy this weekend attack me on Facebook because I was sharing information, and I was like,
Calm
what a-
down.
Well, he was like, "Are you trying to stir blank up?" And I'm like, "You know what, dude? No, you are, because you asked that question. I'm just sharing with you information.
Right, just little bits.
Just
of
because you
nuggets
don't
that
like
know.
it, doesn't mean I'm trying to stir stuff up.
Unfollow. Don't engage.
Oh,
don't
but see, my
comment.
Facebook is open. I don't.
Well, I'm telling him he needs to unfollow. He needs to not engage. Don't comment. It's not worth it. What point are you trying to prove?
He's just angry. But again, he's probably on the other side of the coin. He's probably not a fan of what was being discussed, and therefore he lashes out. Okay, just remember, when you feel
Answer.
uncomfortable, you better take that moment to learn and pay attention, because something's going on inside you. You're either growing, or you're learning something, or it's a call to action. So when you get uncomfortable, there's something happening there. Are you uncomfortable right now?
No.
Kind of squirming. The show after the show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start a petition. This needs to be over the air somewhere.
Yeah.
Share it with your friends.
Get some views up.
Hashtag
on
get
this
some. Deliver it.
thing. Do you write things down so you don't forget them?
Yeah, and I have pads of notes of pads.
For your book?
I'm just giving up on it. I was talking to somebody over the weekend about writing a book, and I'm like, how do I do this? They now have an AI necklace that you can wear. Have you heard of this? Mm-mm. So it keeps up with your conversations and transcribes them, so you can go back and have everything that you've said all day in written form.
That's interesting. Although that would really help me in this job, but
Well, I know, because I like say things, and I'm like, I should have written that
I
down.
know it's like, wait, I forgot.
That's pretty good, Jeff. That's pretty good copy. You should have written that
Yeah.
down. But yeah, so I'm investigating that. But it's like a little, it's a
Interesting.
necklace, and it's a little triangle thing, but it's a recorder. I guess it's Bluetooth operated, and
Yeah.
it puts it on your notepad. So everything that you say. Now, the issue with me is when I say things because of an alleged accent, Siri can't always understand me. So I end up calling the wrong people sometimes. And it's like, no, that's not what I said.
Call Kaylee. Calling
Yeah,
Kelly.
yeah,
No.
yeah, no, not the same woman. Not the same woman. Kayasaka@gmail.
Don't give that up.
They can't spell it. It doesn't matter. I found out her real email today.
My 13-year-old email. I have a different one.
That's only 10 years ago, girl. It ain't that old. But you finally got on the Gmails.
You're right.
I know.
Oh, that's so weird to think about. That was only 10. But then when I think 10 years ago, I'm like, oh, it's so long ago.
Well, when did Facebook start? 2003 or something like that?
2007.
7? Yeah, it was on. I was one of the first people on there.
Really? That's the year my brother was born.
You thought it was for
Facebook?
college students? Well, that's who
Oh, it
started
was
it. It was the
designed,
kids in
yeah.
college because they're too afraid to talk to girls.
He joined Facebook when Facebook got cool. We'll say
yeah.
that.
No, trust me. But you remember your first email address?
That's it.
That was it.
That was
a
it.
Gmail. You know you're young when your first email is a Gmail.
I was working at Tilly's. It's a retail store when I was in high school, and someone gave me an AOL.com AOL address. I'm like, AOL? How do you spell that?
Did they give you
It goes AOL.
it's
I'm
letters?
like, oh.
No, it's AOL. Yeah. That's you know what that stands for?
No.
America Online.
Oh, interesting.
It was a web browser.
yeah.
And they would send CDs, to install it on your computer.
Weird.
And then that voice that would come on, you've got mail. That's where that started. Because they would announce every time somebody emailed you. It was like,
I wish
nah,
it still did that.
I never had an AOL address. I got mine from a guy named Charlie Cook, who is a big time radio guy. He used to program some big radio stations out in Los Angeles, but he worked with me, and I look up to him a lot. And he came to the radio station I was working at, and he's like, y'all don't have the internet? And we're all kind of like, huh? It's like 1995 or whatever, and we're sitting around. He goes, yeah, you get on this thing and you look at stuff. And I was like, we got Bitboard, where
Bitboard?
there were dial-in bulletin boards. This is back when you had to use a phone line to get on computers and stuff. The internet
A
didn't.
phone line?
Yeah, there were landlines. and
Whoa.
so nobody else could be on the phone when you got to the internet. So you'd hear this massively obnoxious sound. I don't have I'll play it for you if my
Oh, boy.
laptop's running. But
It's
yeah,
massively obnoxious.
massively obnoxious because you would pick up the phone and then you would hear this dial-in sound. It's called dial-up.
Yeah.
That was how we got on the internet to begin with.
okay.
Anyway, Charlie Cook had ix.netcom.com, and I got that was my first email. Jeff
Wow.
Roper at ix.netcom.com. And then, we had cell phone companies that started doing emails. So there was an Alltel. Remember that company? Probably not. And then I had, so again, but, life happened before you got here.
What?
Yeah.
Who let that happen?
Your parents, they enjoyed it. Let's
Yeah,
see.
it was
We're going to
once
do a
I came.
dial-up sound effect. So you had an MSN. Our producer had an MSN. So this is what it
My
was.
dad had that.
This is what it was like getting on the internet. You'd get on the phone. So that's, if you picked up the phone while somebody was on the internet, that's what it would sound like.
Oh,
That's what it would sound like.
that's horrible.
So it was like, and if somebody picked up, you got kicked off. Because you had one phone line in the house.
Wow.
And now-
Technology's so funny.
Well, yeah, look back. I mean, radio, TV, that's how people got information out.
It's crazy.
And that's why AM radio is so important, because when everything else goes down,
That's the one constant in life.
AM radio uses the earth as an antenna because the antennas are underground, the copper wires are out. So yeah, losing AM radio stations is not a good thing, and taking them out of cars is not a good thing either.
Which is so interesting that no one uses it. But if everything were to shut down,
How do you
that
think
would
we
be the
would?
place.
Yeah,
to
that
go.
that would, literally during the war, you know, if you heard an air raid siren, you turned your radio to like 690 or 1240, and the government would tell you what's going on. I mean, it was the fastest way to get communication out. So if cell phones go down because the internet blowing up towers or whatever, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
the AM radio signal uses the earth, and I mean, you can't undo it. It's out there.
Right. It's there.
Isn't
She
that
ain't
nut-
going away.
No, and we, you know, AM radio still exists. It's like #1 in some of the biggest cities.
Really? I've
Because-
never heard that.
Oh yeah, in Los Angeles and
Really?
in New York, the big towns, they use AM radio a lot because it's talk now.
Yeah.
But y'all are so caught up in how things sound
Yeah.
that you don't realize that radio sounds better than what you listen to on your phone and stuff, because it's not compressed audio.
Yeah. It's so interesting.
So, you know, HD radio, which we now have here in our area, gives you multiple channels and makes the best way to explain it is HD radio makes video look like film. So it expands the aural experience, AURAL.
Interesting.
And that's why I keep checking in your car if you got
Yeah,
HD
you
radio,
keep checking.
because you get extra channels, plus the listening experience is huge. It's like having surround sound in your car.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That'd be cool to have for sure.
Yeah, but you know, I used to be on AM radio.
Not again.
Let me hang on. Let me get on the internet.
Is this traumatic for some of you?
Did y'all just get on the internets in your mind? The internet of your mind is open. What else?
Oh gosh. The dumbest thing you've ever done as a parent. That's a good one.
Wow. Dumbest thing I've ever done as a parent. There's a list. There ain't no way I don't know. I guess my ex-wife could say a few things.
I'm sure she has a lot to say.
No, she really doesn't have a lot to say. She lets her husband speak.
Oh.
But yeah, the dumbest thing I've ever done as a parent. I don't know. The whole iPad and phone thing probably could have been handled better.
Did you give it to them too early?
Well, I got divorced, and I knew that would be the way for me to keep up with them. But they had an iPad earlier, and I think that was a mistake. It probably should have been waited on.
Yeah, I was an iPad kid when I was younger.
Well, yeah, you see kids looking at magazines, and they're trying to swipe on a magazine like it's an iPad. It's like the kid's a year old.
Or like they'll touch it. It's like that's
Yeah,
not
it's
a
like that
touch
doesn't
screen.
move. Nothing moved. Nothing moved. Yeah. So again, what did your parents do? What's something dumb they did?
Oh gosh, let me get out the list. No, I would say, in my mind, and I still think this is kind of silly, they would take my phone at 10 o'clock at night just to go through it. And I'm like, that's not very nice. What happened to privacy?
No, there's no privacy when you live
what
in
they
somebody's
would
house.
say.
There's no privacy, but I think they probably just wanted you to go to bed.
Probably.
The problem with the phone
But
is
I was already sleeping by 10.
no,
And they
you
would
weren't.
have
you
me
were on that
set
phone,
it there.
and your little friends would text and stuff. It's like last night. I got a message at 12:41. I'm going, I'm asleep. Don't you be going? If you wake up a sleeping bear,
That's not good news.
well, how did I walk in here this morning?
A little groggy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's been a long weekend. I worked. I
Yeah,
got
you-
called into work this weekend, so I didn't get my usual rest. But
His beauty sleep.
yeah, my beauty. Yeah, I need that. It's called mortuary makeup, people. They propping me up like Bernie.
And we're thankful for that.
Weekend at Bernie's. That's it. I told Michael Coates over the weekend I'm gonna get us some cardboard cutouts.
Cardboard cutouts, huh?
Yeah, just put them up on the green wall and just whatever.
Just record a voice track.
And people don't care. People don't care. They're looking at the maps.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, weather people are disposable. Let's face it.
No,
What-
not even.
Why not?
Because you guys.
Because everybody's afraid of it. Because we don't have a script. That's why.
Yeah. You don't have a script, you go off the dome, and you have to update every like 5 seconons.
Well,
Update. Here's a new graphic, here's a new this.
You're here, we're here when you need us. When things happen, that's when, the adrenaline gets going, live television and severe weather and that kind of stuff. But again, weather is the only part of the newscast that is the future. Just remember that. Everything else is history.
Yes, yeah.
It's already happened, people.
And we're just regurgitating it all.
Don't call yourself a regurgitator. You're a commentator, a newscaster,
Commentator, yeah.
a presenter.
There we go. I like that better.
Ankle woman.
I like that all better.
Ankle woman. What's the hardest part of this job?
Getting up in the morning.
Why do you do it?
Because it's fun. And it challenges me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Good.
Think on my feet.
Me too. You never know what's going to be in our ear or what's going to happen next.
Or what's going to pop up on the screen. It's always a gander.
Again, it's like being given some Play-Doh and going, okay.
Good luck.
You
go live in an hour.
What are you going to make of it? Well, again, people don't understand. This is a 24-hour day job. Mm-hmm. You got to know what's going on. I mean, we could tell you what's happening in the world right now, and you're the first one to know. So people wake up and you're like, okay, well, what's happening? Well, let's talk to Kaylee. Kaylee knows. Kaylee can tell us everything's okay this morning, but here's what you might have missed.
Yeah.
And we're doing a special report right now. So I'm guessing, what's that about?
Florida judge dismisses special counsel's classified documents case against former President Donald Trump. It's dismissed.
Breaking news.
There you go, as it's happening.
So a Florida judge has dismissed the classified documents case against former President Donald Trump. I think the political temperature around here is going to calm down.
I hope so. It's tense.
It was lit after that debate.
Yeah.
And it's bad that it took an incident like this weekend to do that.
Right.
There is some scrutiny now on the Secret Service. Mm-hmm. Local law enforcement has told them that they ran into the shooter, but backed off or fell or did not, or were not. Maybe they startled him, and that's why the shots went wrong. But they interrupted the shooter on the roof. Mm-hmm. How he got on the roof, I don't know. Was he in the building ahead of time? Was he up there ahead of time just waiting?
Because there's pictures of his ladder up next to that.
There is a picture of a ladder?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so the cops were aware of it. They had eyes on him. Mm-hmm. Did somebody not give the go word for the sniper? Or
and
did
there
he
were
have to wait?
Spectators shouting, like trying to get attention.
Yeah.
It's just
there's going to be a hearing.
Yeah.
And just remember, the head of the Secret Service was the head of, I believe it's Biden's detail as vice president.
Yeah.
So if that's the head of the Secret Service right now, she is going to be under a lot of, Cheadle is her name, I believe. She's got a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's her name.
And while you're at it, find out who brought the cocaine into the White House.
Wow, that was a flashback.
Why the dogs keep biting people. I mean, if she's the head of Secret Service, I mean,
something's wrong.
Think about this. Did you see the video of the one agent who couldn't find her holster?
Yeah, and she was like fumbling and.
Okay, that made me nervous.
Yeah.
And I have a gun with a
Well,
holster.
now there's like TikToks everywhere of like how women shouldn't be in
nobody ever said
law.
that. No,
Yes.
no. I know that's being said, but no. There's
that's
a liberal.
not-
There's a liberal TikTok. That's not my point.
Right.
My point is these things happened.
Right.
Was that glass that hit the president, or was it a bullet?
All these questions. Well, then the guy who shot the picture of
The New York Times guy.
yeah,
It's right behind him.
You see the bullet
See
right
the
behind
bullet.
his head. He got that moment.
I've never been shot. My brother shot himself in the finger one time, and it was a delayed reaction. It's not until you see the blood that you realize what happened.
Ow.
It was Christmas morning. We got new BB guns.
Ow.
Thanks, Matt.
Yikes.
But at least it was a BB and not a pellet.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. So again, there's a lot of questions, a lot of investigation, and there'll be a lot of spin.
Yeah.
Do you
So
think
we'll
this
see how it all
helps? Do you
unfolds.
think this helps President Trump?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Do you think
I think his reaction after the fact is going to help him. Because even after taking a bullet for America, he stood up and still wanted to talk, still wanted to get to that microphone.
He had to get his shoes.
Yeah, he had to get his shoes.
But that fist-waving moment where he told everybody to fight, I mean, I honestly don't believe that there's not an American that wouldn't feel the same way.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
true.
You put other people in harm. For what reason? I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. I mean, if somebody shows up, I'm going to, it's my instinct to try and take care of
Right.
children, women, the people that maybe disabled people. I mean, those elderly people there. I mean, the whole thing is just a crock
Yeah.
that it had to happen. But they knew about it minutes before. 3 minutes before, there was some scuttlebutt about a disturbance outside the perimeter.
So a lot of questions are circulating, and we'll see
Again,
what comes of
these
it.
are just the facts. We're just presenting them, but I'm curious too.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And then I don't think they're going to increase the security at the RNC.
They said they're not.
18 months of planning, they say we're good.
So we'll see.
Or
I wonder how long-
let's face it, like they're going to tell us. Okay? Like they're
keeping
going to tell
secrets.
us. Why are you don't have to share all this with let's make sure everybody knows, nah, we're good. We're not going to show any weakness. We don't need any more. I'm just serious. I mean,
Yeah.
strategically, why would you admit that? You don't get out there and go, you know what, here's my problem.
It's true, yeah. you got a
Yeah,
point.
so, I mean, they had the place locked down to what they thought it should be, and they had sights on the guy, but I don't know if somebody didn't give the word soon enough or that sniper had, and those snipers may not be with the Secret Service either. Sometimes they hire people from outside, local law enforcement.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was wearing a police vest, and they had two of them at that picture we saw.
Yeah, up top.
But you've got to get clearance, I think, to fire.
Right, because if he had just fired and there was no threat, then what? Then he's in trouble. So he needed that clearance.
But
before he
again,
could.
he's protected. He was quick, though.
He was quick. Once he figured out what was going on.
And that's the danger of these weapons now, the fast fire,
Yeah.
the magazines and stuff. So, and that was not the kid's gun; it was his dad's gun.
So that's what's happening
Hey,
today.
yeah, keep an eye on people that don't act right. Okay.
Yeah. You see something, say something.
Apparently,
if they don't
somebody
listen.
saw the guy up there and knew his name too.
Oh, knew
Did
his
you hear
name? I
that?
did
Somebody
not hear that.
spotted him and might have recognized. He worked at a nursing home. Okay, who do you think was there? All the Trump supporters. There was old people there. There was young people. There were babies there. Reporters were there. I kind of felt like this was going to happen.
You called it. That's the first thing I thought of. Remember when the Supreme Court justice said something about an assassination, and you said, "Watch, now something's going to happen."
That bothers me. But I felt this heavy presence on Saturday. I don't know what it was. I felt like everything was just so heavy. And I kept trying to figure out who am I concerned about? So I called some people and checked on them, and sure enough, they didn't feel good, but then that happened. I was like, that was it. It was something's coming down. You just feel it sometimes, it just gets heavy. Whew. There's smoke around. Make sure you get a breath of fresh air and stay indoors if it bothers you. We got fires. We're tracking that too. Everything just seems to be nuts right now in the world. But hey, when you hang out with us,
Maybe
you might
okay.
learn something. Yeah, maybe. Either that or we won't be here tomorrow
Hey,
because something else. We live on a volcano. Oh, did you hear about the new TV show that's coming to Paramount? Billy Bob Thornton
no.
is doing a show about a Texas land wrangler, whatever. I think he's hilarious. I love him. He's so funny.
I don't even know who that is.
You ever watch Bad Santa? You remember Angelina Jolie's old husband wore a vial of blood around his neck? That's him. Bad Santa. You never seen Bad Santa? You ever watch Fargo?
I'll add it to my list of things.
You ever see Sling Blade?
No.
He was Sling Blade.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He was married to Angelina Jolie.
French fried taters.
Interesting.
Ain't got no gas in it. We ain't got no band, Randy.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Sling Blade.
I'll go educate.
I take some of them big old French fried taters.
Oh my gosh, that's how he talked?
In that movie, he did.
Oh.
He was a convict that got out of jail on the rehabs. Ain't got no gas in it. He killed Dwight Yoakam in that movie. Dwight Yoakam was a bully. You need to, seriously, we need to have a weekend where we sit down and watch some of these culturally introspective movies. All right, later.
I'll work on that.
French fried